What's good, chat? It's your boy, lds.tokouso, back at again with another banger video. Today's going to be the first missionary interview that I hold. As the name suggests, it's an interview for a missionary. Just basically sitting down and asking a couple questions to some friends or family who are going to be leaving soon for their missions. And yeah, maybe it might inspire some of you to go serve a mission. Who knows? But I'm very tired right now, and this was filmed on another day. So, yeah, hopefully you enjoy the video.
I'll just let her introduce herself.
All right. Hi, I'm Adeline. I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I've just been called to go to Guatemala City. I leave in July. I'm so excited.
Alrighty, just a couple easy questions. What's just to introduce you to
Okay.
people, I guess. What's a fun fact about you? Hobbies, talents, or interests?
Fun facts. I suck at this question. I don't know. I have dual citizenship in Bolivia.
Chill.
Don't know.
That's crazy. How was that? How was that process?
Low key, I think just like the Bolivian embassy was in Colorado one year when we were young, and so they just took my birth certificates and my siblings' birth certificates there, and just like signed us up, and then we just got citizenship. I don't know really how that works, but we have it. So,
Well, that's cool. Do you travel a lot there?
I've gone like 3 times in my life. The last
wow.
like 4 summers ago, so it's been a long time.
Mhm.
But it's kind of hard to travel down there to process.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Another easy question, or I guess kind of. What's a favorite song of yours?
A favorite like, are you talking like church songs or just
Maybe whatever.
oh gosh, anything by we'll stick with the Hispanic route, like Los Angeles Azules. That's like childhood peak right there. Just heard it like every Saturday morning. My dad blasting it, you know.
Dang, I might have to give that a listen.
They're good.
All right, and then this one is more spiritual, I guess. What's a favorite scripture or quote and why?
Oh, I have a lot of favorites. I love 3rd Nephi 16, just like those chapters when Christ comes to the Americas. Those are very sacred chapters to me. I also love just like Moroni 8:16, great verse. 2 Timothy 1:7 is also a great one. I don't know. There's just a lot. I
Yeah,
have lots of favorites.
yeah, I get that. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes. This first question is: has anyone served in your family before, and where?
Yes, so both my parents served in Montevideo, Uruguay mission, and my oldest sister served in Phoenix. No, she was called the Phoenix, but then they moved her to Flagstaff, Arizona. And then my other sister served in Concepcion, Chile.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And considering that those are all Spanish speaking, has that like really affected how you guys like? Do you guys like always talk in Spanish at home?
We used to a lot when I was younger, not so much anymore. I wish we did more, but we've kind of assimilated, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we do like speak occasionally, or just like nicknames, or just like sayings, or in Spanish, you know.
Dang, that's so cool. All right. Next question. What was the process like for you when you were going through the mission, like, going through everything, starting it? And like how did you feel? And what were some challenges?
Oh, it's definitely a process, but I've learned a lot just from the process of it. Like, there's a reason for the process, and it's definitely God driven, because I knew qualities where I kind of faltered in, and I wasn't so strong, and like I'm not a very patient person.
Yeah.
And I find myself to be a little prideful sometimes. And I definitely got humbled and learned lots of patience just in the process. Like, just waiting for my mission call was like, I don't usually ever deal with like anxiety or anything, but like, I was so just like nervous and anxious, like good anxious, but like, it was just like, I felt so many emotions all the time. And it was kind of a roller coaster, but I think just like learning to just like be patient and trust in the Lord and know that everything is going to be okay, and whatever
Mhm.
works out is part of his plan and it's what's meant for me was just like really comforting. And I found a lot of comfort and just like to preach my gospel manual and just like reading and preparing just helped me like kind of realize and kind of just slow down and take a breath that like this is something that needs to take time because it's a sacred experience. It's not something that you can rush into.
Yeah,
And Lord's timing. So
definitely. Yeah, I think, as like I begin to prepare for my mission, I think taking into consideration that it is the Lord's timing is something that, I definitely need to consider when I'm doing my things, because I kind of want to do it like kind of what you said. I'm I'm a very impatient person. Like, I kind of want
yes.
things done like as quickly as possible. But I think definitely that is something that will take a lot of time, and need to be mindful and prayerful about that.
Yeah, for sure.
What was something that was like you weren't expecting for you to like really struggle with in your preparation for, getting ready to receive your call, and then now you're preparing to leave?
Um, Honestly, just where I'm going was really unexpected. Like Guatemala was nothing that like it would never cross my mind. And I'm really excited about it. But it's like something that I realize is way different, and it's like different. There's different culture and different languages. But honestly, just like what I put in my papers about how sacred the coming to like Christ coming to the Americas is to me is just like kind of opening my eyes that like the world is bigger than it's not just the things that like you recognize and that and that you've been taught. It's like so much more expansive. And I think it's just been like so fun just like even doing like little research on Guatemala or like the people or just the geographics is just like so fun and it's like unexpected, but it's something that like I can kind of find like comfort in.
Yeah, I like the part where you talked about like realizing the world is bigger than you, and you can have opportunities you can always be a missionary at home, but like I've gotten a lot of opportunities recently to go with the missionaries and like knocking and teach lessons, and that's
Yeah.
something that I realized is like even like the what we think is like right and wrong is not necessarily universal, and I think that is an amazing thing that the missionary experience allows you to have, is to see just the greater world and like everything that God has to offer to us.
Yeah, for sure.
And you kind of already answered it, this next question, but it's where are you going, and what are you looking forward to while serving in the area?
Yeah. Guatemala City, it's the like general one because I learned there's 4 missions in Guatemala City, which is
Wow.
crazy. And the church is growing. It's immensely growing there. It's huge. Like there's I believe 3 temples there. There's like 6 missions. It's huge and I
Wow.
just never realized it. So I'm really excited to see that. And then also just like I learned that there's like 22 different Mayan languages there. And I personally have roots in the Incan Empire, but just like I might be able to learn some like Mayan indigenous roots and just some of that language and that culture. And I'm just like very curious about it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you kind of mentioned earlier with like Christ coming to the Americas that like a lot of these cultures and peoples do have like their roots tied into what we learn about in church in the Book of Mormon, and like the Lamanites and Nephites, and the fact that you'll be able to serve among people that have those cultures and histories intertwined with that. I think that's a really great blessing.
Yeah, this is the land of the Book of Mormon stories. So
Yeah. All right. This question says, what was your reaction when finding out where you got called? Did your reaction change, and how do you feel about it now?
um honestly, when I first got my like opened my portal and was getting ready to get my call, I was just like I was so concerned on the location, like, oh, I kind of hope it's Bolivia because like going back to the motherland would be cool. But like once I got that notification, like after like waiting for it and being anxious for it for so long, and when I got that notification, like all of it just was like relief. And it was just like, I have a mission call. Like it just is kind of this like sense of like, oh, I have this purpose now. Like I know what this is, like what this means and what this entails. But when I like started reading it, I just immediately felt the Spirit so strongly,
Mhm.
and I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing. And when I read Guatemala, I was very shocked. I was like, "Whoa! I never expected this," but I'm so excited because it's something new, and it's like a place full of unexpected and new adventures. But like, I'm excited for them. So
Mhm.
excited, yeah.
And considering that you've opened your mission call, how would you counsel people in how they react to their mission call? Because there are people that like are really like laser focused on where they serve, and if they don't get sent where they want to serve, they might feel bummed about that. Do you have any like advice to those people?
Yeah. Um, two things. One, I think I've heard this a lot just in my process, but a lot of people like RMs, they tell me that it's honestly more important your like timing and who your mission president is, because that kind of determines how your mission goes more than the location.
Mhm.
And also just realizing like no matter where you go, they're all children of God and they're all people who need to hear Christ's words. And so just like having the like your focus on Christ is the main thing. Just that like you want to serve and that you want to find love for his people. And then also with I kind of did my mission call a little bit differently. Some people like open it raw reaction in front of everybody,
Mhm.
but I opened mine by myself, like at the church.
Mhm.
And that was kind of nice just having myself and being able to be raw and genuine, and like if I needed to cry or scream or laugh or whatever, I could do that by myself.
Yeah.
And then kind of still like be excited for the rest of the day. And then that night I had like opened my mission call in front of everybody. And it was just like so fun. Like it was like a fun experience. It was like thrilling because
Mhm.
I knew where I was going, but still like all these people that came here to support me and who love me, they like didn't know yet. And they were so excited for me. And then I also found a really big like missionary opportunity with my mission call. Like I invited like my whole swim team, I invited my friends, I invited like my school friends who are members, and like all my young women and people from the ward and the stake. And it was just like a big party. And
Yeah.
it was just like fun because I just was able to get so much like support, and then also be able to share this like sacred experience with so many others.
Yeah. I love that point about like you made it like a missionary experience. Like when you opened your call, and I think we should be able to be mindful and also take advantage of those experiences. I think at all times we can always be inviting people, and I think that was a great thing that you did, inviting like members and non-members to come and watch and celebrate with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How have you prepared to go on your mission physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually? And then we can just focus on that. And there's the second part of that question.
Yeah. I as soon as I got that notification on what was it, like November 21st, that girls could serve at 18, that was just like a life-changing moment for me
Yeah.
because it just hit me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have so much to prepare for." Like I thought I would have a whole nother year until I had to go through this process. But
Mhm.
like that kind of just put it in motion. And then since that day, I've just like I talked to my bishop, I got myself a patriarchal, not a patriarchal, preach my gospel booklet,
Mhm.
and I got like books to read about the endowment and going through the temple, and just started reading. And then I started reading this like gospel in Spanish book, and especially like with my family who are a lot of full of RMs, like that was a great support system for me because I was able to like know what I need to focus on and what I needed to kind of expand my learning on.
Mhm.
So like I read a lot. I went like I've been going to the temple way more than I have in the past, and just kind of like spent more time kind of just like slowing down and like thinking in my mind, just kind of pondering on what I need to ponder on and just talking to God more. And then just also just being more open about what like my focus is in my life, because as like seniors, everybody's like, "Oh, where are you going to college? What are you doing after high school?" All this stuff. And I think just like being more open about like, oh, my mind is kind of I'm looking towards my mission. That's what I'm like, that's where my focus is. And like not only internalizing that yourself, but like also sharing that. I just like I love sharing things and being missionary now, because there's a really great talk by I think it's Uchtdorf, but it's becoming a missionary and
Mhm.
how you can start whenever. You can be a missionary right now. And so just like doing that and just like really internalizing that and like going out with the sister missionaries and going into lessons and just immersing yourself with that, I think was just like really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about it earlier in this about like always having that opportunity to be a missionary, whether you have the tag or not. I think that's a great thing to focus on. Actually, you mentioned something that honestly I don't know why I didn't ask you earlier. Your reaction to the church changing the age for young women to serve. Was that like when you found out? Because I found out in first period, and I remember I was sitting right next to my friend, my Catholic friend, and we got into a conversation about that. But I was like, "Oh wow, that's crazy." But you know, as a young man, I think it sometimes it doesn't dawn on us like the impact that has. And what was it like for you? Was it like you talked about it a little bit, but like were you like shocked? Were you like I don't care?
Yeah, well, it was such a surreal experience. Some backstory, like I've always wanted to serve a mission, but like during like this summer and just towards the end of the summer and the beginning of school year, like just like a lot of family friends and like older adults have just been asking me like, oh, what's your plans for after high school? And I would always be like, oh, well, like I'm gonna do a year of college and then I go on my mission. But then, like, I would always add on to that conversation. I always, like, kind of complain about, like, "Oh, I wish girls could just leave right after high
Mm,
school." And I would kind of just, like, complain about it, but, like, unrealizing like, not realizing that that could even be a possibility. And so when I got this news, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is huge. This is what I have been kind of, like, asking God for, like, a prayer unsaid." And it was just like so amazing, and I felt like that was like a part of this news was for me because God knows how dear to my heart missions are and how I want to be a missionary so bad. And it was just like it was shocking. I was also in school and I left like right after that period was over. I just went home and just like hugged my mom and just prayed and just sat in there because I like it really had to sink it in because like, I would be sacrificing a lot if I went on a mission because I had all these plans and I'm a very, like, future thinker, and so, like, I was gonna, like, work this summer and, like, maybe do an internship, and then I was gonna go to Europe with my sisters and then do, like, college with my sisters, like, both my sisters are in college, and if I got into BYU, I'd be, like, doing my freshman year with my sisters, and,
mhm.
like, that's something I am now giving up, like, it's, like, these kind of small sacrifices but like they were big to me then. And so that whole day I was just thinking about like just sacrifices. But I like at the end of the day I just realized like if I go on my mission, I will have eternity with my family, with my sisters, and I will have the rest of my life to learn and to work. And this is the only time now that I have to go on this mission and to do this and to get closer to Christ and set up kind of this building block for the rest of my life. And so it's so worth it. And like now looking back on it, I was like, those were stupid small things because this is so much bigger.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just exciting.
Yeah. I remember when the announcement came out, and in the months following, there was like 4 or 5, maybe 6 people, young women that I knew that had their papers turned in by then. And like right after, I was like, "Dang!" I
Yeah.
was like, "That is so crazy." And I think that does speak to what you're talking about, like God being aware of like those prayers of like His children, and especially for the young women that like are earnestly wanting to serve, and the prayers were answered that day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And the second part of the question was, and what would you recommend for people who want or are thinking about serving to do now to prepare?
Yeah. I'm definitely like not an experienced missionary. Like I'm still very like I'm learning myself, but I love just going out with the sister missionaries. That was so fun. And like a lot just like growing up in the church, like you don't realize what these lessons are. Like
Hmm.
and it's just like so incredible to watch these people taking lessons, being willing to give up like just like smoking or coffee or whatever, like just like these like things that you've never considered giving up because you just never started.
Yeah.
Or just like I mean, I'm assuming or whatever. But like, it's just, like, so amazing just, like, watching not only the sisters, but also, like, these people were taking lessons and just like watching their faith. It's just like it's so inspiring.
Yeah.
And then I also just like emailing missionaries and like taking in input from other people, like asking questions. Like I'm a huge person who just like loves, like I'm so curious. So I just ask questions and I just keep going.
Mhm.
And I've like loved just like I've grown closer to my parents, like just like asking about missions and learning about their experience. And then like with friends and like other adults in the church and just leaders. And so just like ask questions. Like there's no harm in asking questions. And like this whole church was based off of asking questions.
Right.
Just as said that prayer in the sacred grove, and that's where it all started. And so yeah, just be curious and just make sure like you're leaning on God and like just I don't know, just trust him and read the scriptures. Like reread the Book of Mormon as much as you can before you leave.
Yeah, I've asked a couple of family that have come back from their missions, like was like, what would they suggest for me as someone who's preparing to go to, like, what should I do now? And it's surprising a lot of them say just reading the Book of Mormon. And I think that is something that, as members, like being born in the church, that's something you overlook a lot, is like, because we learned about it so much, we're always talking about it. It's unique to us. So it's something, it's like, that's just a part of who we are, that we forget the power that it has. And I think I've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it when going out with the missionaries. Like, I talked about it a little bit with you earlier about going out yesterday with the elders. They actually got that person to be put on date for baptism.
Oh, that's awesome. Good.
Like, he was so accepting of the Book of Mormon, and he's like, yeah, I just, he's a great person. And just seeing them understand and learn about what we know is just, I think, is an amazing experience that we get to share with them, but also we get to learn as being missionaries, or will be missionaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this last question, it's kind of a big one. Why do you want to serve?
Ooh, that is a big one. I mean, I've said this before. I've like always wanted to serve. But like honestly, that hasn't always been like always like since birth or whatever. But like since I've grown closer to Christ, it's just been something so obvious to me. And then just like also in my patriarchal blessing, like I haven't realized this until like I really started considering like opening my mission portal and stuff. But like it just flat out says it in my patriarchal blessing that I'm gonna serve on a full-time basis in my youth. And I'm like, wow, that's just like it's so plainly there. And like the Lord glorifies in simple things. And I just like I want to serve the Lord and I want to be his servant and I really love people and I just want to find a more deeper connection to all the people and just like I just love Jesus and I want to show him that I'm willing to sacrifice whatever, but also that like this isn't for me. Like I'm not doing a mission because I want to grow or I want to like serve people. It's really just for others. Like I'm there for them and I'm willing to be his instrument and to be used in the way that my talents and my gifts can be used. And I know that's my purpose and I know that's what the Lord sent me down here to do, to gather Israel.
Yeah. And I think the love of the children, right? The love of our fellow brothers and sisters is honestly probably the best thing that can be the motive to serve a mission, right? Is to give them the blessings that we've seen. I know I've seen it. I didn't always go to church growing up, like just recently started in sophomore year going back to church. And, I've seen what the gospel can do in my life. And I know it can bless other people. I can testify of that. So yeah, what an amazing experience. And we wish you all the best.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
To end this off, can you just share your testimony for everyone?
Yeah, of course. I love to. I know that this church is true, and I know that the Book of Mormon is the Word of God, and I know that we need to hold on to it like the iron rod, and that if we do, then we will. There's nothing that will separate us from the love of God, and I know that He loves us immensely, and He wants us to return to Him, and God is in relentless pursuit of us. He loves us so, so much. And I know that he not only wants us to have that love, but he wants us to share it with everybody, and to be that light on the hill that people can come to, and that we can go to others and guide others. And I know that he just has a deep love for all his children. And I'm so very grateful to know that, and to be able to have the opportunity to share that with as many people as I can. And I'm so very grateful for that, and for his gospel and his prophets and his apostles and all that he has given us on this earth. And I say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.